This movie will show you how to blend color in hair using your base color. The techniques you will use to apply the colors will be coloring in circles and flicking.
Now on this image we're going to color it as if our light source is coming directly from the top. We're going to take our lightest shade, which in this case is the E31, and we're going to work on this side of her hair first. We're going to circle this color in, keeping our leading edge wet, which means you're basically coloring back over where you've just been. By doing this, you're keeping your whole area wet with ink so that when you move into your next shade, you get a good blending because you still have dampness to this color. So you're circling in until that's all filled in. You're going to move on to your next shade, which is your E33, and you're going to flick that color in using kind of a long stroke where you'd want your shadow. In this case, most of the shadow is going to be concentrated from back behind her ear, the bottom part of her hair, because our light source is coming directly from the top. We want to keep the highlights toward the top of her hair. We come back in with that E31